Okay, so here is the story behind the title Tickhead. It's kind of like a funny story amidst all of this. And when it happened, I said to Paul, if I ever write a book or something, I'm gonna call it Tickhead, a cancer story. And so that really is the reason, but I'm gonna tell you the story behind it. So last June 2020, before my surgery, um, after my diagnosis, we were meeting with a breast cancer surgeon for the first time at U of M. And I think that morning we had a couple different appointments, and things were getting really heavy and serious. And again, we were doing really good though, despite everything. We really were doing well, and could definitely find humor in situations. I could, at least. And we were at the cancer center, which we had been in the cancer center before, but this is our first time meeting with like the surgeons and like being in like the upstairs area. So we met with our surgeon, and she kind of told me what the mastectomy was going to look like and what the procedure and why they were doing this, and answered all of our questions. This might have been the first time we actually talked to someone like in person about the cancer, because I met with people at the breast clinic, but when they actually told me what was cancer, it was over the phone. Then I had lots of video visits and phone calls, and this was our first time like meeting with someone at the hospital, and they did an exam and felt everything. So I do this thing sometimes when I'm stressed out. Well, first of all, if you notice I touch my face a lot, that's because I like do that when I'm uncomfortable. I'm kind of uncomfortable on camera, I think. So like I do it to like, I don't know, comfort myself or something. I just touch my face. But I also, when I'm stressed out, Paul calls it the stress hands. And I'll like do this like a lot. I kind of just like, ugh. So like if I'm like leaning on a counter, I'm like doing this. Paul's like, you okay? You stressed out? So at the appointment, the doctor is explaining things to us, and she was like about wrapping it up, and I must have done the stress hands, and I like touched my head, and I like felt something like right here, like in my scalp. And this was a really serious thing. I didn't know what it was. I didn't want to like pick at it, and like I need to focus, and so I just kind of was like, what is that? And I like put my hand down, and then she finished and she left. And then this is like the time when Paul and I would like probably turn to each other and talk about what she talked about, and like recap and our feelings and our thoughts and everything. And we always like to summarize like what we understand with everything going on. But I turned to him and I said, Paul, I think I have a tick on my head. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I think I have a tick on my head. And so he like got out his flashlight, and I like showed him, and he looked, and I did. I had like a tick attached to my head, my scalp, under my hair, like around right here. I have never had, let me fix my hair. I have never had a tick before. Like, I've seen ticks. I've never even had one on my clothing or anything. And our dog had got them a lot. I don't know if Paul ever actually had one on him, maybe when he was younger. But we had been working on our property in this like corner, like clearing out some junk over the weeks before. I'm assuming that's where it came from. I don't know if the day before or not. I don't know what I was doing the day before. But anyways, I definitely had a tick on my head. And so then we're like, what do we do? There's like, we need to talk. We need to figure this cancer thing out right now. Normally that's what we would do, but I have a tick on my head. And so it was just kind of like funny. I found myself laughing a lot, and we made a game plan. And we probably could have asked someone there to help us. We were at a hospital, but that's not what they deal with at the cancer clinic. They don't deal with ticks on people's heads. And so we were gonna plan on getting lunch after this. And so we ended up driving to downtown Ann Arbor, which was really close. And we stopped at like a CVS downtown, and we went up there and we got like tweezers and alcohol pads and like cleaning, sterilizing stuff. And then Paul's an expert tick remover because of our dog. And so then we went back to the car, and he like got the tick off. I don't know what he did, but whatever, like when it must not have been, it didn't start beating on my blood or anything, so it wasn't engorged, and it must have like when he touched it, it retracted, and so it didn't hurt when he removed it. He was able really just to like kind of pick it up and take it, and I had like a little tiny like bite mark or something. But it was just kind of surreal and kind of funny in the midst of all of this, that like, I don't know, that happened. And so I don't know if anyone else will really think it's like that funny, or they might just think it's disgusting, but it's kind of just like a memory that we have during all of this. And I remember like the next day we had meet with a high-risk OB, and she herself had cancer just the year before, breast cancer. And you know, she met with us. She was like, it wasn't really like a checkup. It was more like just a conversation appointment. And we were in her office, and she's like, so tell me, she's like, you're pregnant and there's a pandemic going on and you have breast cancer. Like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, and I had a tick on my head. And she's like, no, you didn't. That didn't happen. I'm like, it did. And yeah, so that is the story behind Tickhead. There you go. Now you know.